Well, they closed down the mill and they closed down the mine. They said you can't work but pay your taxes on time. Got 3 little babies gonna starve to death or freeze. We started making white lightning, it was Grandpa's recipe. Run, rebel, run to no avail. Run, rebel, run to the Scott County Jail.
Hey.
Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Jailhouse Informant. You are locked in for the next hour with myself and my co-host, Dr. Christy Sumner.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching tonight.
Yeah, hello, everyone. Thank you guys so much. So we're doing something a little bit different tonight. For the last, 7 weeks, we've been doing a special weekly show where we've been talking to different jails from all around the country, different locations, some of them chambers of commerce, some of them museums, some of them paranormal destinations. But this week, and actually, let me step back. We had to cancel last week's because myself, I was in the process of moving, and Chris had a lot of things going on there at the historic Scott County Jail. So we had to cancel that, but we wanted to make sure to come on this week, even though we're both kind of weary. And
I know, I was looking at myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so road weary looking. Looks like I've just come off an overnight paranormal investigation or something.
Maybe you did.
I did.
And I am still here in South Carolina, coming off of a 3-day Paracon with 2 paranormal investigations. Hey, Sally.
Yeah,
And not coming back to Tennessee until tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's been a great weekend, but a lot going here on the jail. Thanks everybody who's watching. Jennifer, thank you for being on. She and some friends actually had a great paranormal investigation a couple of weeks ago. So very excited to have her out here and looking forward to what they found. Susan, Carl, Cara, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, and Susan was here actually in South Carolina checking out the Haunted at the Mill Paracon. She helped me with my booth yesterday, making sure that everything was just and we ended up having dinner together and everything. So thank you, Susan and Becky. Glad you made it back safely.
Yeah, so where we want to start tonight? It's just the two of us, but we've got a lot to talk about.
Well, I said we go ahead and kind of talk a little bit about, kind of recap. We're here at the end of the month of March, kind of recap a little bit about what we've had going on at the jail and some of the cool things that we've had coming up. I know we made a very, very cool announcement it was last week about something really cool that happened to us at the historic Scott County Jail.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Tennessee Association of Museums is an association that represents all museums across Tennessee statewide. And so we were nominated for 5 different categories, and we actually received awards in 4 of those 5 categories. So for us, we were extremely proud of that. It was something that, we've really worked hard to make the historic Scott County Jail a really interesting destination, both historically as well as for paranormal researchers. And to be able to have our peers in the museum community really recognize us for what we've done, just being a team of 2, that to me is pretty spectacular. So I'm very proud of that. I'm proud of what we've done here at the jail. And like I said, to have the Tennessee Association of Museums really recognize us for that in such a short amount of time too, right? We've only opened in the fall of 2021. So to be able to get 4 awards was pretty neat.
Yeah, and I mean, and to also be two ladies who just breaking into the museum business. I mean, we both have been in the paranormal for a while now, but breaking into the museum business and also being, business partners and business owners is something that's new to us. So to be able to get these commendation awards, I mean, it's really very cool, and especially to rack up on 4 of our 5 nominations. That's just,
Mhm.
I'm so freaking proud.
I know. So the 4 that we have it was under the permanent exhibit category. So we do have 8 foot by 6 foot timeline here at the museum, and it really is a pictorial representation of Scott County in this really neat timeline. And it's got all of our sheriffs and when they were elected, interesting facts about Scott County, any sheriff's deputy that's been killed in the line of duty here in Scott County, as well as any inmate who is lynched from the jail here in this historic Scott County jail. So that is a really cool exhibit. Obviously, it's permanent. So again, to be able to have a recognition for that is really neat, because that was really a great collaboration between the two of us, my doing the research and you putting together all of the graphics and the design work on that, and then to print this massive 8 foot timeline, and the fact that it's hanging still, it's great, right? I mean, we've got master hanging skills as well to get that thing hung up on the wall.
I mean,
So we
it
had, yeah,
really,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, it really is something cool to see with this snapshot from the establishment of the county in 1849 up until when we took the jail over in 2021. I mean, we're not stopping with the timeline part at that point, but at least as far as showing that representation of the jail, we still have pieces like we've got our current sheriff up and that
Mhm.
sort of thing. But yeah, this was really cool as far as a permanent exhibit to be able to have that up.
Mhm. And then we won an award in the audio visual category. So we actually have an audio tour that you can take when you come and visit the jail. It actually starts outside, and what we did was we created a QR code so you can scan that with your cell phone when you come in. And there's 14 different narration stops, so different cells. The room, like for example, the room that I'm in right now, there's an audio tour stop in this room, and each stop lasts about 2 minutes. I do all the narration for each of the stops, but then we interweave those with stories from people who have an association with the jail, right? So Mayor Dennis Jeffers, he's on one of the stops. A gentleman whose mother was actually born here in the jail, he talks on one of the stops. So to really be able to bring the rooms in here to life via audio tour was something that we really knew we wanted to do right off the bat when we opened. And again, to have that recognized by the Tennessee Association of Museums is pretty spectacular.
And we're going to actually be adding quite a
Hmm.
few stops to this tour, because throughout the year and a half that we've been open, we've added a lot of new exhibits. We've found a lot of more information, a lot more research has been done. So we've also had a lot more people who have volunteered to speak on our audio tour as well. So I think that's really added to the legitimacy of this,
Hmm.
and I'm so excited and looking forward to the addition of more stops on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's see, digital media. So this is pretty much all Miranda. She definitely has a background in graphic design and marketing and such. So she has put together an amazing website. If you haven't visited our website, you need to go check it out. It's really spectacular. Everything that you want to know about the historic Scott County Jail is on that website. All of our booking, she's built all of our booking platforms on there. Everything from the paranormal bookings to our after dark bookings to our escape room bookings. She's really the heart and soul behind our website. So congratulations on your award there, Miranda.
Well, thank you. I'm really proud of that because one of the things that when I was building this and sitting down with you and discussing how we wanted this to go and all the stuff of this, I really took it from being a paranormal
Hmm.
investigator. And to me, obviously people set things up the way that they want to, but as an investigator, it can be very frustrating in trying to book these investigations because you either have questions as to whether you've got electricity or what have you, all the way to if the date is even available. So I
Hmm.
wanted to make this almost like a contactless top website to where you could go on, you could find all the information under our frequently asked questions and actually book your date without having to reach out to us unless you specifically wanted to talk to us or have a question. And then also with, just setting up the events and really making it a full service website that could work for anybody that was just there looking for the true crime and the history, or if they were in the paranormal. And hopefully it kind of stimulates a conversation to where we have something for everyone, that it will pique your interest in another arena of what we have.
Absolutely.
So thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then our last one is under special events. So at Christmas, we had what we call the Ghost of the Past at Christmas Walk. And it really was an immersive experience through the town of Huntsville. So Huntsville does a great job at Christmas putting up thousands of dollars worth of Christmas lights. So in December, this place really comes to life. It really showcases its beauty at Christmas. And so what we did is we actually incorporated that. We use that to our advantage. And we have a 2 hour, about an hour and a half, 2 hour tour that we walk you through all of those Christmas lights. We tell you the entire history of Scott County, of Huntsville, noting important figures like General Winfield Scott, who the county is named after. We take you to the burial site of Senator Howard Baker, who was Ronald Reagan's chief of staff. He's actually buried almost right next to the jail. So we take you up there. We talk about all the buildings, the ghost stories, and we really kind of what we wanted to do was kind of bring those stories to life. And so then we cap that off with a tour of the historic Scott County Jail. So again, something that we were recognized for is pretty interesting, because we wrote all of the scripts for this. We researched all of the stops, and to receive an accolade like this award to us is pretty spectacular.
Yeah, and what's better than hearing, haunting history among Christmas lights, tragedy, but also the beauty and sparkle of the lights.
Right? Exactly. And another thing that these awards do, it really legitimizes what we're doing, but also Scott County. And these are awards that I think the entire community can be proud of, right? Because we're showcasing all of Scott County. We're highlighting the jail. We're highlighting all of these different stories. And so for us, it's just not about the jail, even though we're trying to preserve it. And these are awards based on our efforts to do so. But it's something that the entire community should be proud of, because this building is no longer sitting here vacant. It's no longer sitting here empty. It's something that people can come and enjoy for various reasons.
Absolutely. And it's keeping that history alive, because from this, we can't say too much just yet, but from these awards, we've been recognized throughout all of Tennessee at this point, and have actually caught the eye of one particular very large museum organization that we're actually going to be able to partner with on some work this summer. So, so definitely some really good opportunities have come from this that, like I said, I'm just so proud that it's, and like you mentioned about the building sitting there vacant for so long, and, giving the access to the community to be able to come in and having people from all over the country, and not just all over the country, but all over the world coming in and hearing the stories of Sheriff Ellis and Jerome Boyett and all the different folks that are in there. And they're really enjoying hearing these stories, and they're sharing those stories. So it's a really proud moment for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you everybody who's over here in the chat room making all of your congratulatory comments. We really do appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, thank you all so much. And if you have any questions or anything like that, please feel free to put them over here in the comments, and we'll definitely get it. And looks like we've got, speaking of worldwide, we've got Virgil here from Manchester, England. Hey, Virgil.
Hey, Virgil, thanks for joining us.
All right. So, so like we said, we're kind of wrapping up the month of March here. I mean, I know we have had a ton of guided ghost hunts.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of great people coming in for those. We've had some great flashlight tours and escape rooms this past month. We are back on our regular schedule of being open 5 days a week. got some great things planned here for April that's
Mhm.
coming up. While we're talking about that, I'm gonna go ahead and actually pull up the website here. We should, let's see, we're here on the 26th, so I'm almost thinking, if not tomorrow, by midweek, we should have all of our stuff on the schedule, as far as our flashlight tours and guided ghost hunts and such on the schedule for
Mhm.
April midweek this week, correct?
Yeah, yeah. And like you said, March was a really great month. We got to meet a lot of great people. Like I said, Jennifer, she got to come to the jail. She investigated with some friends. I think from all accounts of what we heard, they had an amazing night. So there's some really cool evidence that they were able to capture. Different flashlight tours, escape rooms. We actually had a group from Knoxville who own an escape room. They actually came and wanted to try ours out. So I felt a little bit of pressure, because I designed the escape room. So I felt a little bit of pressure to have some people who are professionals in the industry come and try it out, but they were really impressed. So that was a really cool thing. Just at daily tours, we've met some really great people on our daily tours. Seems to be a lot of Wisconsin people in the area, California people, Indiana people. They've all come and enjoyed the jail this month. So it's been a good month.
Yeah, yeah, and it's great to see people out traveling right now, and things are really starting to pick up there at the jail as far as foot traffic and everything. I know that our investigations are going really well. We've had a bunch of new bookings over the last couple weeks coming in, and so very excited about that. I think we have a few dates still open in April. I think maybe like one Saturday, and then we do offer investigations Thursday through Sunday night. So we've got some Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays, I think, open, but Saturdays are pretty well booked right now.
Yeah.
So, and then we've also got still got dates open throughout the year. So definitely want to, if you have a particular date in mind, you definitely, especially during the end months of the year, you need to go ahead and get those booked, because those dates do book up pretty quick. And then also, we're starting to really put out our motorcycle events.
Yep.
And this is our second annual Blessing of the Bikes event that's going to be taking place on April 15th. Doing it a little bit different this year as far as our time goes. We're starting at 9 a.m. and it's going to go to 1 p.m. Eastern time. We're able to get a food truck out there this year. If you've eaten at Dean's Diner before, they have a food truck now called Dean's Pit Stop. And I got to say, I know they've got some of the most amazing dinner food, but they're going to be serving up breakfast food and possibly some dinner food items for later on in the day, but they're going to actually have country breakfast for any of you folks that come early and want to purchase that. Also, it's going to be hosted by the servants, or the blessings are going to be done by the Servants of Jesus, group number 1256 chapter. They're coming out of Jacksboro, Tennessee, and they're going to be coming and they're going to be doing the blessings from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. that day.
Yep. So even if you don't ride, just come out. If you're in the area, just come on out and say hi, tour the jail if you want, grab some great lunch or breakfast. But just come. I think it's going to be a really fun day. So I'm looking forward to this one.
We will have the museum open, and we'll have special commemorative stickers that you'll get with the purchase of your museum ticket. So we definitely come out, spend the day with us, because last year it was really cool. The folks that came out to get their bikes blessed, they ended up staying the majority of the
day.
Yeah. So we've got that going on. We don't have it up on the schedule yet, but let me make sure I'm saying the right date here, because I've got to get all the stuff designed for it. I believe it is May 20th. Yes. On May 20th, we're going to have the third annual Harold Young Memorial Scholarship dart run. And so if you're not familiar with what a dart run is, there are 3 stops. At each of those 3 stops, it's essentially like a poker run. If you're a motorcyclist. But there are 3 stops, and at each of those stops, you play a hand of darts, and at the end, whoever has the highest score ends up winning the prize. But we are going to be the 3rd and final stop this year, and so we'll have all the times on that scheduled out, as well as the full schedule of events. You'll be seeing more advertising about that. But that is a scholarship that's named in honor of my dad, who passed away in 2019. He was a 30-plus year educator. He was also a 50-plus year Mason. And so we are partnering with the Masonic Writers Association, the Widow's Sons Hillbilly chapter out of Robbins, Tennessee. And the scholarship, the money that's raised from this, creates a scholarship for students who are majoring in the field of science. Dad was a science teacher. And so we've got the list of students who applied for this. We've had 10 that applied for this year. And so we're in the process, my family, of going through and narrowing that down to who's going to receive the $1,000 that was raised last year. So we're hoping to raise a little more to be able to give more and possibly multiple scholarships for next year. So.
Yeah. So Cara, I think this year you will be able to donate even if you cannot make the event. Yes. Miranda will post that link, and then we'll share it from the jail and from our personal pages as well.
Yes, we have in the past had where people can send in and donate. Last year's winner, she was actually going to UT. What in the world is that?
It's Sally. She's got herself up here. I'll mute it. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I thought you were chewing something.
No, it's Sally. We're having a Sally moment.
You're in a haunted jail, so it could be anything. Last year's winner, and we'll actually post the video for that again later on, but she was going to UT, and she was going to school to be a nurse. So we're very, very, very excited that we were able to help. Every little bit counts when you're going to college. So we were able to help her, and very pleased to be able to do so, and looking forward to this year's winners as well. So, but yes, Cara, you will be able to donate through the site.
Yeah, so a lot of stuff, like Miranda said, we have a lot of stuff going on. It's going to be a very busy summer. I know we keep teasing that we're going to make an announcement. We keep pushing it back, but that's just been for logistical reasons. It will be a really cool announcement. I think everybody will be really excited about it. But once we get the final piece of the puzzle in and ready to go, we will be making that announcement. So hopefully very soon here.
Can we say anything about it?
I mean, I'm game if you are.
I mean, either we can tease about it a little bit more, or after this week possibly be able to make the announcement. Sure.
I just say that we say midweek we're going to come on and do a special live making an announcement. Let's do that.
That sounds good. All we can say is it is an expansion, and it is
new opportunities, new location opportunities. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And so we've had this in the works since about
January.
July
last year. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we officially, I guess you could say, we officially inked it there in January, but just logistics, because we want to do it right. And I mean, you can rush stuff and put stuff out there, but there's nothing worse than having to backtrack what you're saying. And we want to make sure to do it right. So hopefully very, very soon we'll be able to say something.
Arizona is next on our list. Let us take over Tennessee by storm, Janet, and then Arizona, we will start with the A's and work our way down. So stay tuned for Arizona. Just let us get Tennessee under our belts.
And of course, Cara says, they're not going to tell.
Yeah, Cara has a sneak peek. Cara's my family, so she has a sneak peek.
And we've got Laura Brewster on there as well. We're if you'll mention, Laura, when is the auction? I know that there's an auction there in the county. We donated a couple tickets to that. Have been doing that for the last couple years. And I believe the funds go to the rescue squad, and I think there are like several other several other folks that the funds go to. So if you want to put that in the comments there when the auction is, we'll put that on there, because folks may want to definitely tune in, because there's a lot of really cool things that people can get at a good price to go to to benefit several different organizations on that as well. So if you want to plug that in there. Let's see. I'm trying to think of other things that have been going on because we have had so much over the last little bit. I'm just kind of going through our. We did put out the other day about. Let me pull this up right here. About we asked for your questions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That seems like so long ago.
Right.
Got the paranormal thing over. Seems so long ago.
So if you guys have been following us, you know that Christian contemporary music artist and writer Ben Fuller, he wrote a song called Chasing Rebels, and it was videoed and put together here at the historic Scott County Jail. And so he is gracious enough. He's actually on tour right now. And so he's gracious enough to sit down and do an interview with us this past week. We're working on getting that interview put together. We were unable to do it live just because he is on tour. And I think when we interviewed him, he had just that morning arrived down in Louisiana for a show that night. Yeah. So, but we asked for your questions and you guys were awesome. You sent some really great questions for us. We were able to put those on the screen and highlight those during the interview, and Ben did such a great job answering.
It was such a fun interview, y'all. We're going to release this here in a couple of weeks, and it was so great. He's just so humble. He's so passionate about his testimony. He's so passionate about his singing and just, touching those people who, need to grow from his testimony. And so for us to be able to interview him, for him to take his time out of his schedule, it was very gracious of him to do that. We spoke for almost an hour, and it was just a fun interview. So thank you again to all of those who asked questions. He loved every single question. He thought they were very insightful, and he took his time and answered every single one. So thank you all for doing that. And we're really excited that we could allow you to participate, even though we were not live. But it was a great interview, and I'm really excited to post this one here soon.
Yeah, this one is actually going to be aired Easter weekend. So we're going to air that on Sunday night. It's the second weekend in April. I'm not exactly sure what that date is, but it will be Easter weekend. And, there's no other fitting interview for that, I think.
Right.
So, and as April Childress says, love his music. Everybody loves his music. It's one of those things where in our community, especially there in Huntsville, so many lives have been touched with drugs and different addiction and that sort of thing. And this song really, truly speaks to the recovery as well as, his testimony of how his life was during that time period. And so, and that's not the only song that is just beautifully written. And I mean, you got to check out his whole stuff because he's just, he's taking off like crazy. It's amazing.
It really is. So he's on tour with some other Christian artists right now.
Casting Crowns.
Yeah, Casting Crowns is a big one. And so, like I said, it was just a pleasure to interview him. So we really do thank him for taking the time to do that. Let's jump back to Laura real quick. Yes. Laura, congratulations.
Yes.
$56,000. Congratulations. I'm glad you had a great turnout.
I did not realize it was this past weekend. I know it's usually either the end of March or sometime in April. So wonderful. Glad that with us traveling, we missed getting to watch that. But I say, like I said, that with Ben Fuller, he will be coming on. But I say we talk a little bit about some of the things that us personally have
why we look like we're dragging today.
Right.
Why do we look so disheveled? You want to start, or do you want me to start?
No, you go for it, because I'm pulling your page up.
Okay. All right. Well, so this weekend, Jenny's my twin sister, and she's actually right here. Jenny, say hi. So my twin sister, Jenny, and I were Soul Sisters Paranormal. So we actually investigated the old hospital on College Hill in Williamson, West Virginia, and it was spectacular. This place, it came on the scene not too long ago, about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and it really holds up to its paranormal billing. Let me tell you, it was built in 1928. It was state of the art hospital when it was built. I think it cost $175,000 to build at that time, which is about $3.5 million today. And it sat vacant for a while. And the current owners, Tanya and Charlie, they've done a great job of really making this accommodating for paranormal investigators. Yeah, so there's the hospital. It's 4 floors plus a basement. And the basement really is, we've been investigating all over the country for years, but I got to say the basement of this location is one that gave me the creeps. It really did. And but the way Tanya and Charlie have got this set up, they've got a base camp for you. They've got a house literally steps from the hospital that paranormal investigators can rent. It makes it so convenient. You just walk your equipment right up the stairs. You're at the front door of the hospital. They're gracious. They're hospitable. And I just can't say enough about this location.
Yeah.
And there's my live.
There you're saying something about it there now.
Yeah. So we did do several lives. If you'd get a chance to go to the Soul Sisters Paranormal Facebook page, you can see those lives there. We did have one very interesting interaction with the K2 meter up on the 3rd floor, which was the maternity ward. So we got some really cool, what we think is positive responses. On the live, we actually captured an EVP, which is really neat. And then the basement, when we did the live down there, some interesting things happened. We're still going to try to go through and try to debunk some of that, but right now it's very tough for us to do that. Thanks, Michelle. It's kind of tough for us to debunk it because we just don't understand why the equipment was behaving the way it was. So we're going to look into that a little bit further. But like I said, if you're a paranormal investigation team or a solo investigator, you really should go check this place out. It really is a great location.
Yeah, so definitely, and let me pull out of this right here. I've put in the show notes, I've put Soul Sisters Facebook page as well as their website. Mm-hmm. So I'm putting it here in the comments now. So if you want to go and watch any of those lives, because I think you did like a tour live. Mm-hmm. Like a daytime tour live, and then you mm-hmm. did several live investigations there. I've being out and about, I've not had the opportunity to watch myself yet, so hopefully
we did here. Yeah, we did 4 lives total. And going to Carl's question, yes, Carl, so there are still human ashes in the crematorium downstairs and the incinerator down there. When the hospital closed, they literally just shut the doors. So you can still walk in and there's paperwork, there's crutches, there's IV solution, and down in the incinerator, it's actually full of ashes. That is part medical equipment that had to be disposed of, like whatever medical equipment, and then some human remains. So Tanya and Charlie, they did have somebody from the state go and make sure that everything was okay there with having those on site. And so they're not going to disturb them. They don't let anybody touch them or, dig around. They don't let anybody do that. So they are very respectful in that manner, but you can go down there and do some EVP sessions and just kind of be in that area where the incinerator is.
And it's really neat. You can actually stay on site.
Well, this is Dr. Conley's house. So like I said, it's literally steps from the hospital, and Tanya and Charlie have renovated the heck out of this sucker. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. It's got a large living room, a large space for if you have more people for blow up mattresses or whatever, a large dining area, great kitchen, and tons of outlets. So what we did is we just plugged in all of our equipment and charged it, and then literally you just walk up to the hospital. Just take your stuff and walk right up there. It's very convenient if you want to just set up your equipment and then walk back down to the house and make some coffee or whatever. It's just so convenient, and it's something that I think a lot of locations can learn from, to have that lodging option so close. Because otherwise, if they didn't have this, the only lodging option available was to go about 30 minutes back down to Pikesville. So this is extremely convenient.
Very cool. Very cool. So how long was your investigation?
We were there for almost 8.5 hours, and
Okay.
yeah, and like I said, it's dark inside there, and you're kind of in the middle of nowhere because you're literally on top of the hill. This hospital's sitting on top of this hill, and it was for us. It was pretty intense. It's dark in the basement. It's dank in the basement, but it's quite intimidating when you're there with only two people. But we really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I actually want to show. They've got a great website there,
Hmm.
and I love the video
Yes.
because
Yeah.
it just literally shows how,
Hmm.
the hospital on the hill, with
Yeah,
the town
absolutely.
below.
So the brown building on the left, that was actually a nursing college that was there. They are trying to renovate that. The building that's on the left, the white building, that is the waterworks. It's still in operation, believe it or not. And then if it comes back around, um, so not the brick house right beside it on the left, but the one that's coming up. I can't really see it. The drone doesn't get it, but right beside this house on the left, that house is
Is
Dr.
it that
Conley's house.
little? Is it that little
Yeah.
red that's there in the?
Yeah, and yeah, so if man, I wish the drone would have come back just a little bit because you can see it. So as the brick house that's coming in to the right, the Dr. Conley's house is just beside of that. And so it's
Maybe
kind of
you
hard
can
to see
see.
with the trees, but it, like I said, very, very convenient.
Yeah, and this location has been highlighted on the popular show Destination Fears.
Hmm.
So
Yep. And so, and good for them, good for them because they are really trying. Williamson is a location that it needs an influx of tourism. It needs an influx of revenue. And so they are really taking paranormal tourism and doing some great things with it. They want to renovate that nursing college as well, and get some more options there for both the citizens of Williamson and then also visitors alike. So Charlie is the mayor of the town, so he's really pushing hard to get that those paranormal tourism dollars in. So again, very gracious host, very hospitable, anything that we wanted, very professional, and I just can't speak highly enough of this location.
And what's so cool about it, it's not just the preservation or the restoration of the hotel, but the whole city benefits from
Exactly.
this paranormal tourism. And
Hmm.
by bringing these folks in, these TV shows, these other investigators, the whole town ends up benefiting from it.
Absolutely. I mean, we ate at the local restaurants. We bought the local gas. We bought some local souvenirs and such. So, if, like I said, if you're a paranormal investigator, please check out this location. It's very convenient.
Absolutely. And then I was a little further down south.
You were. All right. Let's talk about your this
Like I
weekend.
said, still here. But yeah, so I was a little bit further down south. I was at Haygood Mill, which is it was established there in 1792. It's also a petroglyph site. This location was very, very cool. This was part of the Haunting at the Mill Paracon. This is their first annual Paracon that was put on by Raven Paranormal. And so the money that from this Paracon went to benefit Haygood Mill as well as Sacred Mountain Retreats. Sacred Mountain Retreats is a organization that helps veterans with veterans get service dogs, veterans get the care and help that they need, suicide prevention. It's a very, very important cause. So
Mhm.
all of the money from this Paracon went to benefit both of these locations. And it was really cool. It was, like I said, it was the first annual Paracon that was there. And what was really fascinating to me was the fact that the people who were there at this Paracon were representing all areas of the country. I don't think I've ever been, with the paranormal, we're very regional because there are so many locations around the country, and you may get somebody that travels across country. But at this Paracon, we had myself, who was from East Tennessee, but I was truly in the minority of Southern speakers being represented, which is unusual at these locations. We have people from Kansas, people from South Dakota, people from Massachusetts. It was, and that's just to name a few places. A lot of folks who have been on TV and who are also content creators. It was a very good representation of different folks from all around the country. This right here probably was one of my favorite parts, were the prehistoric rock carvings and the petroglyphs that are buried. Essentially, the road used to run through here, and so whenever they took the road up, they found some of these prehistoric petroglyphs. And so in this particular building that's behind this sign, they actually have the Native American Resource Center. And so this mill site was one of the trading posts for the Cherokee Indians. So inside of this, you have different tribes. You've got Apache, you've got Crow, you've got different artifacts from these different tribes. And so a lot of people ask why they're there, but it's because it was the trading post.
Very cool.
So when you go in, and hopefully I'll have some more, I took a lot of pictures from inside where they had the petroglyphs, but I was able to actually take my shoes off and go down and walk on the petroglyphs, which is not something they typically let people do. And so you could feel the energy and the vibration just from standing on those very old carvings. So
that's wild.
Very, very cool.
So why did they choose this location? What was the connection for the team to host it here?
Well, because it was so Brandon, who is one of the main sponsors there, who's with Supernatural Inc., Raven Paranormal, he is actually a Cherokee shaman.
Okay.
And so he works or volunteers at this location. So he has very, very strong ties and connections with this location. Okay. And so they've investigated. There is some cool activity. People who came and did the VIP here at this, they were able to camp on the grounds. They were able to take part in the investigations. It was a 2-night investigation if you did the VIP. If you didn't do the VIP, it was a 1-night. And then you got to listen to speakers and all the different vendors that was here. And actually, this particular day right here on Saturday, they actually had the meal open, and you could go in and you could get flour and you could get grits.
Oh, fun.
Get all kinds of cool stuff. Today, I actually got to go and meet with the blacksmith. Brandon is apprenticing with the blacksmith there. And so if I hadn't run out of time, he was going to let me hammer on some things and work on some things. But I'm going to come back, hopefully maybe shoot an episode here and get to utilize the blacksmith shop. They're going to open up for me when I come back. So
nice. Are you going to bring me back some grits?
Well, I tell you, I actually had for lunch today, I actually had South Carolina shrimp and grits. They had that on site. They also had some South Carolina barbecue. So yeah.
Glad you got to enjoy it. Answer my question.
I am stalling. Yeah, I might have.
Okay, good.
I might have stowed away some grits.
Right answer, Ghost Biker.
What's cool about this right here is, I felt like I learned so much from this, but there's so much more to learn. But these 2 cabins, some of the cabins on site are actually relocated, kind of like, the Museum of Appalachia and the Scott County Heritage Museum and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them have been relocated, but like the house here that's on the right, that house was a slave cabin, and you could actually look at the architecture on this cabin and the one beside it. The one beside it was actually built by native indigenous people from the area. So you can look and see the difference in the two styles of craftsmanship, and having them side by side was extremely cool. Also, and I don't know if I have those pictures posted yet, but there is a cabin that was located there's 55 acres with this entire site. And so one of them had actual period specific tools and artifacts inside of it that did trigger a lot of different activity. And the I think his name was Ashbury. He was the Methodist church writer. He stayed in that cabin a lot, and he was responsible for creating a lot of the Methodist churches in this region of South Carolina. So a lot of history. Also, and I don't believe I posted that picture yet, but a lot of the early churches and a lot of the early religious areas were called I believe they were called arbor churches.
Okay, yeah.
And so, or arbor sanctuaries. So there's they have an arbor church there on the property, and it's absolutely gorgeous with the posts and the vines. And we'll definitely try to post some of those, but it was really cool to be surrounded by that and see all of that.
Nice. Now, are they open for paranormal investigations for just normal people? Not ghost bikers and other normal people? Regular Joes?
I think so. If I know this would have been one of the first investigations. I mean, Brandon and them have investigated there. This was the first Paracon. I think that if I will definitely look into that, but I think that you can probably, if you reach out to them, be able to set up a paranormal investigation.
Oh, very cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds like you had a great weekend.
I did. It was definitely a fun weekend surrounded by some really great people. Got to meet a lot of new people. Got to actually meet some friends that I've had for a long time that I've never met before in person. So that was really cool. And I definitely recommend when they do this again next year, coming and checking out. First year of Paracon, they're always hard. There's always a learning curve. Yeah, and it's a lot of work that goes into putting these together. So good on them, and good on them for the funds that they've raised to benefit these two great organizations.
Very cool. All right, well, good stuff.
Yeah. So what's coming up next for Soul Sisters?
Well, Jenny and I, we are twins, so we'll be heading to Twinsburg, Ohio in August, and that will also be our next big formal investigation. We're going to be going to Hillview Manor. So we'll be going to Hillview Manor, and we'll be we actually met several other sets of twins, so we'll be taking them with us. They have never been on an investigation before, and we're going to do some twin experiments, which I'm very excited about. But we also have some speaking engagements. We will be at, I'm putting in the paperwork today to be at the West Virginia Paranormal Tourism Convention on May 13th. Of course, you and I will be at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. We will be representing the historic Scott County Jail, Ghost Biker Explorations, and Soul Sisters Paranormal. So if you are at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash, please stop by and say hi to both of us and learn all the information about our individual teams as well as the historic Scott County Jail. So those are the two things that I can think about. I'll be at the Harriman Hospital on Wednesday. I got a little project that I'm working on with the owners of that. I'm very excited about it. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and so I'll be speaking at EnigmaCons, which is April 22nd, and that's going to be at St. Albans Sanatorium. I know there's a couple folks in here. Mr. Ronnie Anderson is in here that's involved with the putting on of that. This is the final EnigmaCons. I know they've been doing it for 7 years. This is the final one that they're going to be doing. So definitely honored to be speaking at that event. So that's April 22nd. And then I know as Christy said, I'm truly, truly honored to be able to speak at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash, not only just being able to represent the jail and our teams and such, but to actually be able to speak there. It really is an honor. That's going to be in July. I think it's the 14th, 15th, and 16th. I'll be speaking on that Friday. And then I know I'm going to be part of the Deep South Paracon, which takes place in August. I don't have that date directly in front of me. Also, a little premature, but going to be speaking out in Deadwood, South Dakota at the end of September. And then a Ghost Biker Harley Davidson event in October 14th and 15th. I feel like I'm missing something, but I don't have my schedule completely in front of me, but a lot of different stuff going on. I definitely suggest, if you all don't mind, please go check out our respective teams. Check out Soul Sisters Paranormal. You can follow them on their Facebook page, on soulsistersparanormal.com, on the Soul Sisters Paranormal YouTube channel. Check out some of their amazing videos. These locations that the twins go and visit, they go and they put out great videos. So you guys, I know we'll be putting out a video here on College Hill.
Yes. Yep. We'll be doing that hopefully very soon.
What is your next one? I know you've been working on several.
Madison Seminary, it's just been really tough the last couple of weeks and months, really, just getting all that footage, going through all of that footage. But Madison Seminary will be putting that one out. The hospital on College Hill will be putting that out. And I'm kind of backlogged on a couple of other videos, but slowly but surely working through all of those.
Yeah, and then and also you can check out my page, Ghost Biker Explorations, www.ghostbikerexplorations.com. Ghost Biker Explorations YouTube, Facebook page. We just finished season 5 last year and filming on season 6. You can go back, watch all of those seasons. You can also catch my other weekly live stream, the Ghost Biker Garage Live. That's every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Also follow up on the events and stuff. I know that we both post those on our page. You know, the jail is something that is extremely important to us and exciting that we've been able to come together, create history, highways, and haunts, and have these endeavors. I mean, there's nothing more awesome than being able to work with your best friend and someone who is a respected peer in the paranormal community. But we also want to, kind of push our personal teams as well. If you enjoy the paranormal and if you enjoy the history, we put a lot of content out on our own personal pages as well. So it's cool to be able to share the stuff that we're kind of doing in tandem to really promote the jail, and that's a little bit different.
Yeah. And real quick, you can also follow other teams that come to the jail if you want to. If you could put Rochelle's comment up there. Rochelle was here with Jennifer and some other very cool investigators. Just a great group of people that came. They're YouTubers and they're investigators, and they really know their stuff. I think they've got so much equipment. I mean, I'm not sure how they pay for all their equipment, but good job, ladies. And so they really had an extensive investigation here at the jail. And Rochelle shared some of her evidence with us already. It's spectacular. Some of the EVPs that she captured here were great. So I highly recommend, if you know of any teams or YouTubers that investigate the jail and you want to see some of the stuff that they captured, go and follow these people, because they really are doing some very good work in paranormal research, and some of the stuff that they captured was really cool. And then Tanya Webb, if you can throw hers back up on there, please. Tanya is the owner of the hospital on College Hill. So if you want to book that location, and I highly recommend that you do, get in touch with Tanya. Go to the old hospital on College Hill website. All of her contact information is there. But like I said, I cannot speak highly enough about this place.
Yeah, and we definitely suggest follow the historic Scott County Jail Facebook page. Obviously, you probably are because you're watching
Because
this
you're
right
here.
now. But definitely go and share that out, because every time we have a team come in, we always share their photo the night that they're here. And if we ask their permission, because most are good with it, some don't want their information necessarily out there, but we put the links to their page on there. So some do live investigations like Christy did at College Hills. Some do just, content like we do, putting it out at a later date. So go on and support those content creators if you're interested in the paranormal, because, that's what it takes, is just somebody seeing their stuff, saying, hey, that's really cool, and sharing it out. A like, a share, and a comment really goes a long way for a content creator. So
Absolutely.
So if you're looking for cool content, go back, scroll through our page, and find some of those folks, and go back and see some of the things that they've gotten, not just at the jail, but also at other locations.
Yeah, because these YouTubers, they're out there. They're really trying to, in my mind, go out there and do this for the right reasons. They're not in it to do jump scares or to do all of that. The ladies and the team that we had here that night, they were solid investigators. They were obviously YouTubing it, but they really had some solid evidence and some solid equipment, and I really like their style. So, as Miranda said, go and follow them and check out some of the stuff that they're doing.
Yeah, we've had almost 100 investigators that have been at the jail just within this short period of time. So, so there's no shortage of people that have come that are good, respected investigators that
Absolutely,
we maybe have a different style than us, but they, nonetheless have captured some really cool things that they're proud of, and we're proud to highlight as well. So definitely go scroll through and find some of those folks. Also, just want to quickly say hello here to Melissa Rupert. I just got back into my hotel just before the show here. I was able to go out to dinner with her and her husband Jim and Horn Paranormal, and just lots of great folks tonight. We met for dinner from the Paracon. I've known Melissa and Jim found out yesterday, for 10 years, and so they have been supportive from the beginning. They're supportive of not only the jail, but Ghost Biker, Soul Sisters. And so just want to say hello to them again. And yes, it was wonderful meeting you guys in person as well, finally.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Again, everybody in the comment section, this is why we do what we do. And thank you so much for your support of us. From the jail to Ghost Biker to Soul Sisters. We really do appreciate it. It does mean a lot. So thank you for being here with us tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And so next week, I just want to pull up, feel free to go back to any of our Jailhouse Informant podcasts, because we have talked to some amazing jails and locations that we've been highlighting throughout the entire country. And so our goal is to highlight jails all around the country and reach some of our international jails out there. But it looks like next week we're going to have the 1910 Gila County, Arizona jail.
Yes.
So, Janet, Arizona.
It's coming your way, Janet. And then, yeah, absolutely. So that's going to be great. And also mark your calendars for the Ben Fuller interview on Easter Sunday.
Yes, April 9th. And then April 16th, we will have none other than the legend, Mr. Harry Millman, or Dr. Harry Millman.
Dr. Harry Millman. Yes, he is a treat. So we're looking forward to speaking with him.
Yeah, we'll be talking more true crime, forensics, some cases. We'll kind of be stepping away briefly there from our jail series on that, but he is definitely going to be a very cool.
He's a fun guy.
He really is. So, like I said, keep an eye on the website, because we will have more events posted this week. Hopefully, fingers crossed, be making a big announcement this week. Yeah. Yes. So, anyways, we thank you guys so much, and hope you guys have a wonderful week.
Good night, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.